Here is a fact that sounds like it must be wrong. The most important currency on earth, the US dollar, mostly does not live in the United States. Trillions upon trillions of dollars exist, are lent, and are borrowed entirely outside America, beyond the reach of the country that prints them, in a shadow system most people have never heard named. And nobody, not even the experts, can say exactly how big it is. Start with something odd. A dollar does not have to be in America to be a dollar. A bank in London, or Tokyo, or Singapore can hold deposits, make loans, and keep its books entirely in US dollars, dollars that never once touch American soil. These are called Euro dollars, a confusing name that has nothing to do with Europe. It just means dollars living abroad. It began, strangely, in the Cold War. Countries that were wary of America, the Soviet Union among them, wanted the safety and usefulness of the dollar, but did not want to hold their money inside US banks, where it could be frozen. So they parked their dollars in banks outside America. Those banks began lending them out. And the whole financial system, denominated in dollars but beyond US borders, quietly took root and grew. And it grew because the world runs on the dollar. Oil is priced in dollars. Much of global trade is settled in dollars. Countries hold their savings in dollars. If you are a company in Brazil trading with a company in Thailand, you very likely deal in dollars, through banks in neither country. The dollar is not just America's currency. It is the world's, and the world needed somewhere to keep and to borrow it. So picture the map, and it is a strange one. The dollar's true territory is not the United States. It is everywhere, a vast, borderless ocean of dollars sloshing between banks in financial centers across the planet, lent and relent, far from Washington. The currency belongs to one country. The system that actually moves most of it belongs to no one. And here is what makes it genuinely eerie. No one knows its true size. Because these dollars are created by private banks abroad, lending to one another, outside the direct view of the Federal Reserve, there is no clean way to measure the whole. Estimates run into the tens of trillions. The largest, most consequential pool of money in human history is, in effect, only partly mapped. This is not a curiosity. It is the hidden plumbing of the global economy. When this offshore dollar system is flush, money is cheap and the world booms. When it seizes up, when those foreign banks suddenly cannot get the dollars they owe, it triggers crises far from America, in countries that never borrowed from an American bank at all. A dollar shortage overseas can wreck an economy with no connection to the United States. And this is the quiet source of a strange power. Because the whole world runs on dollars it holds outside America. The whole world is, in a sense, financially tethered to decisions made in Washington. When the Federal Reserve raises or lowers its rates, it is not just setting policy for America. It is, whether it intends to or not, setting the weather for a borderless dollar system it does not fully control and cannot fully see. And that is the uneasy paradox at the very center of it. The dollar's dominance is enormously convenient, a common language for the world's money. But it means the world depends on a currency it cannot govern, issued by a country pursuing its own interests, moved through a shadow system nobody fully oversees. Everyone relies on it. No one is quite in charge of it. Which is a strange foundation for a global economy. Not gold, not a treaty, not some neutral world institution, but a single nation's currency, living mostly abroad, multiplied by private banks, beyond the sight of the very central bank whose name is printed on it. The world's money is, in the end, a borrowed thing, held far from home. So the next time you hear that the dollar is the world's reserve currency, understand what that really means. Most of those dollars are not in America at all. They live offshore, lent and relent through banks across the globe, in a system so large no one can measure it, and no single government can steer it. The world's most important money mostly lives outside the country that makes it, and that is a foundation nobody quite chose and nobody fully controls.